the very serious issue of student suicides. On Friday night, students at the National Institute of Technology at Silchar in the Cachar district of Assam clashed with the police during an aggressive protest. This after the death of one of their fellow college students in the hostel. It was a student from Arunachal Pradesh who was in the 5th semester of electric engineering course, and he allegedly hanged himself after he failed exams and could not clear his back papers. He had a large number of back papers due to the COVID years where classes and exams were online. Now, this incident once again has shown how mental health is a major issue with students of premier institutes. Already, student suicides has been a huge issue with the number of suicides in Rajasthan's coaching town of Kota, and then the recent suicide due to ragging in Kolkata's Jadavpur University. So, more stress-related suicides. Are authorities and society failing our students? Well, to talk more about this, first we're joined by Chandrasheel Thakur, in charge of the student cell, Rajasthan Police in Kota. Thank you so much for joining us. First and foremost, if you could tell us a bit about what this student cell does.
Yeah. Actually, this student cell was formed by our DGP, sir. And this works under supervision of the IGP range Kota. And I'm heading this cell. We have about 13 dedicated police officers who have at least 20 years behind them. So it's an experienced team which actually identifies the kids who are facing symptoms of depression or any mental health issues. Besides, we do many things like we are a single window for them. We have 3 dedicated helplines so they can connect with us with all their issues. Mostly their issues are trivial, but even those small issues can lead to stress to students. So we want to provide them a stress-free atmosphere. That is the reason why this student cell was created.
Right. And so, in the course of your experience of reaching out to students and your teams going around, how important is this for students to feel that there's some figure of authority, there's somebody out there who is there for them to, vent or talk to or reach out to if they feel distressed?
Yeah, actually, they are connecting really well with us because our tagline is that we are concerned about you, and when you are away from your homes and your parents are not with you, so we will be your parents in Kota. So that tagline has really worked. Students are coming with their problems. They are calling us incessantly on our helpline. We got about 400 calls in last 2 months. So students are coming to us. We are reaching out to students. We are trying to identify and help other stakeholders in identifying students who are facing mental health issues. We escalate their issues to counselors, to psychologists and other teams which handle mental health issues. So we have been quite successful. Besides, there are certain issues like refund issues of their fees and food issues. So we take care of all issues of students. So actually, they kind of feel safe. I guess they feel better now.
So clearly, this is something that needs to be, replicated in other parts as well. Thank you so much, Chandrasheel Thakur, for speaking to us here at NDTV. We're now also joined by Dr. Kumar Rajesh Tomar, educationist and student counselor, associate with Mewar University, and Vandana Kohli, author and mental health expert. Thank you so much for joining us. First, Dr. Kumar Rajesh Tomar, to you, if we talk about this Silchar case, what was really distressing is to know that this poor student had all these backlog papers from the time of COVID when he couldn't take the exams online. And one would imagine, authorities should be a little more sensitive to issues like this.
You are very right, because what I have personally seen last over 30 years of experience in education industry and counseling the students, because of the minor issues, students take strong decisions, and in most of the cases, students are not at fault. Mostly problem is there with the people dealing with the students. Their behavior is not proper. They don't handle the things properly. They are lacking psychological knowledge, basically. A child psychology expert is not there in the institutions, mostly. So here also the similar case was there. He was not properly behaved by the seniors or the teen academics and other supporting members, And the students are generally not used to before 12th or, before graduation to take such misbehavior from the, seniors, Or the family members are also very supportive and they don't, never come across a, kind of situation where they feel, very insecure or insensitive or they are insulted, time and again. So once they feel that thing, all of a sudden it comes from the surroundings or from the student side kind of ragging or from the seniors or their mentors, if they start behaving in a different way, which is not acceptable to them, And so they don't, they're not able to grasp that.
Well, this student at Silchar was clearly, at NIT Silchar was clearly very, very stressed about this, and he felt, the authorities were not being understanding about his situation and having, all these large number of these backlog papers. Vandana Kohli, your comments on this, because clearly it's an issue here. It's shameful for the country to have so many students getting so stressed and dying by suicide, and this is something we really need to deal with and holistically as a society.
Well, yes, Gargi, I'm glad you said holistically as a society. I do agree with Mr. Tomar when he says that students need more support from authorities and people who are dealing with them have to be more sensitive to their issues. But having said that, I also want to point out that we are undermining the impact of social media on the brain. There is so much noise that is created by mindlessly scrolling, and by mindlessly posting. And because it is the order of the day to be on social media, because it's great. It's a great tool for grandparents to be in touch with their grandchildren and for friends to be in touch with each other. But when you are a developing brain, you're an adolescent, you're a young kid who's 7 years old, there is no reason for you to be on social media. So unless this is a problem, I'm sorry to say it's a very serious issue. Suicides have gone up all over the world. The US is dealing with a rate that it has never dealt with before. In the last 8 years, the number of students who are coming into the room with self-inflicted harm is gone up 88%. We don't even have probably all figures in. So
Vandana Kohli, are you saying, these last couple of years, the way social media has become such a big part of people's lives, added with, already the stress that students are facing, this creates some more pressures on them?
Absolutely, because as I said, we are undermining the noise that is created in the brain. And whenever we realize that, we will look back at this time when we let them free run with social media and be appalled that we allowed that to happen. So it is important that educational institutions, you see, my biggest grouse these days is why are schools and why are institutes encouraging a child to have a smartphone? We did assignments without a smartphone. There were papers given to us. We knew exactly what was going on in class. We knew exactly what we had to complete, whether we were practicing after school, whether we had an extra assignment.
Well, you're talking about a whole different issue here, but we're also, if you talk about students and especially in colleges, the way what we're seeing in Kota, the highest number this year of student suicides, and it's very, very disturbing also because, the kind of pressures parents, society and students perhaps put on themselves, and when they can't meet that, they can't pass that entrance exam, or they can't, in this case in Silchar, the student just felt hopeless given the number of exams he was meant to be taking, and that is something something we need to deal with. Dr. Kumar, Rajesh.
Yes, ma'am, you're very right. What happened, the core problem is not the social media, it could be one of the things, as Vandana said, The question here, the core issue is that they are not being given a proper input in their mind, they should be aware of what Gita is saying, they should be aware of what our religious books are saying. It's full of struggles. Even the God, they are the son of
but what
kings.
can institutes do? I think more it needs to be institutes. They need to have counseling centers. They need to have a helpline or a committee where the student knows if they're feeling stressed or they have some sort of grouse and they're feeling helpless and hopeless. They can reach out, and this is something that should be mandated.
If I can come here.
Yes, Vandana,
What
go
I
ahead.
personally,
Yes,
yeah.
I think I agree with you. And I think Mr. Tomar also said that initially, that, that there is important to have that support. I'm going a step further. I think we both agree. In fact, we all agree that, yes, we need that support. But, the word in Hindi or for health is swasth, which is swa and ast. Swa means my own self and ast means centered. Basically, it means that you have to be still and centered for emotional and mental wellness. And the technology of the day and our interaction, our over interaction with it is making us vibrate, and, there's taken away complete stillness from us. So it is important to realize that you can have counselors, you can have things that the institute can do, and institutes should do. I mean, I support that point wholeheartedly. But at the same time, the ground on which the counseling is falling also has to be worked on. And unless we do that, we are going to see suicide rates, unfortunately, go up. There can be no greater grief for a parent and therefore for a society than to lose a young person.
Absolutely.
So I think if we want to get to the core and the bottom of this, social media cannot be undermined. That is the point that I'd like to make.
All right. And, final word, Dr. Tomar, and clearly something that, parents also need to think about, putting stress on the child. And again, coming back to the point of teachers and counselors in Kota, we know that they're putting together committees and they're trying to, identify students who are stressed. So before they even, think in that direction.
Very rightly said. We should also think, our government should also think of banning the coaching institutions,
That's an extreme step. I don't see that happening. Yeah. But yes, maybe, improving coaching institutes, not creating such a strain on the students who go there, because, these constant tests and comparisons is what really gets them down.
Yes. So we should try to ban that also. We should think on that point of view, It's not that taking a drastic hard step, but at least you can think of it, minimize the burden on the students, or you can catch them young, That is one of the policies we can think of.
Well, then it comes back to the holistic, dealing with this problem of students, and clearly a lot of tension given, the job market, etc. It's all, it combines to create this kind of storm in their minds. But thank you so much. We'll continue doing these programs, trying to create awareness about this issue, so families think about it, teachers think about it, and society thinks about it. Thank you all for watching at home. Goodbye.